Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for those of you who are out there listening. I love that it doesn't matter where we are located or what time zone we're in. We can all come together at the same time to have amazing conversation. Now, that being said, if you are familiar with my shows, I do have guests on usually, and those shows, we do have amazing conversation. Today, there will only be as much conversation as you guys engage with me in the comments. So if you're out there on Team Live or even Team Replay, let us know where you're located. If you're live, obviously I can post the comments up here, but if you are on Team Replay, at least I can come back and have conversation with you. So just so that you know, I'm located here in Houston, Texas, and have lived here for a long time. But the purpose, and so I love it here. But so again, tell us where you're located. But the reason and the purpose for this show was really for accountability reasons. I mean, the reality is we should all be holding ourselves accountable for whatever we might do, but when we have so many things that we want to be accountable for, it sometimes becomes beyond what we're capable of navigating or managing to, right? So I have a whole list of things that I hold myself accountable for, that I do it regularly. Those things I can do without a problem. It's the things that are over and beyond that sometimes we need accountability partners. And I have a couple of accountability partners of whom I love, but they are for specific tasks that I'm trying to accomplish. So this one is really, I'm putting myself out here on LinkedIn to share a little bit more about my story, the human behind HumAIn Sales. Now, does anyone care? When you really consume content, you really want to try to learn as much as you can. You want to get something out of it. I don't know if you're going to get anything out of it. So if you're joining me for the first time, or you've come and participated, prior to and been here on the show, I don't know if you'll get anything out of it. If what you learn from me can help move the needle for you, then or you can send to someone else that you think it might move the needle to, then I have won, most certainly. That is far beyond what I expected. But really, it's been about just sharing my story, because the goal is to take this data, and the video, transcribe it, and really focus on the output of all of that. So I'm super excited what that might look like. So when I know more of that, I'll share that with you. But I've been talking about really why I branched into, moving from the role of a salesperson to an entrepreneur. I've talked about the launch of Success with AI in my Celevators program. I've even talked about my journey of healing as part of that. So I've talked about many things now. But today, what I really want to focus on is really my sales journey and where that originally started. Not my history and all the places I've worked or the industries I've worked in, but what made me decide about sales. And just as an FYI, these are only 10, 15-minute pop-ups on Mondays at 11:30. So I'm not going to keep anyone that's out there. I'm not going to keep you on long, but do most certainly participate in the conversation. Drop a comment if you'd like. Let's have some engaging discussion. But I would say, if I reflect back on why I even chose sales. So first off, I would say I've always been exposed to the sales profession. My father was a salesperson. He was by primary role, he was a paramedic and EMT. But if you know the fire department, they tend to work 1 day on and 2 days off. So 24 on, 48 off. And so he had a couple of other days to burn. And that's when he would pick up all of these things that he did. So he'd been an entrepreneur as well. Like, he started his own club way back in the day. He also had a modeling agency. But he worked for Philip Morris for a while. I mean, you name it, the man had a million different jobs, right? And so I've always been exposed to the entrepreneurial role world, as well as just sales. When I first graduated, and I think this is funny, this is a post from someone else, but my first couple of sales jobs that I had was just like a lot of us. I sold, had my own lemonade stand. Also, funny enough, I sold tickets to watch a dance routine with me and two other girls. So I was always trying to find ways to make money. When I was in high school, I worked retail sales. I also worked at a movie rental place, which was also a tanning salon. So you had to sell services in there. So I've always been exposed, even in my part-time, like before true sales as a profession, I always had some sort of sales role until I went to college. When I went to college, I actually majored in music and marketing. It was fully music, and then I was adding marketing in. And then eventually at the very end, I then added my fashion merchandising degree. But when I graduated, the point of that was, or what I had intended when I first started, was I was going to teach voice lessons and choir because my emphasis was voice. So I studied voice, and then when I moved over to and finished out with a fashion merchandising degree, I thought for sure that I could do something great and amazing with that. I did start at Bath and Body Works, where you had to push lotions and all the fragrances that you can find in there. But what I realized was, where my heart was in really helping people, and where I could actually then as well make money to support the ability to help people. And that's when I just moved naturally. After I'd been at Bath and Body Works, I moved to Houston, Texas from Alabama. I had started out as a manager at Bath and Body Works, which was my first job out of college. And I realized that I did not want to greet people as they were walking in the door. Hey, have you tried this new fragrance? Or have you tried our new body lotions? Or whatever it was I was trying to push. So I then had met someone, and that was a recruiter for a software company. And I naturally then started my progression into sales. So my very first sales job was selling telecom sales. So long distance to businesses. So I had to go from office building to office building and do cold calling. If you've never done that ever in your life, then you have never truly experienced sales in my mind. But anyway, I learned a lot. I learned about grit. I learned about perseverance. I learned about how to be audible ready, although I didn't really understand audible ready as a term at that time. But it's just always been in my nature. For me, if I can help someone, even as corny as it sounds, in software sales, if I could help someone further their professional goals, if I could help them meet their KPI so that they could get bonused, if I could help them get promoted, if I could help them just feel better about adding value to their team or their organization, if I could help them in some way, to me, that was satisfying. So when I talk about sales, it's always about leading by service, right? Always thinking in terms of finding ways to help. And so I even try to uncover what makes that person a hero, what is valuable to them, what can you help partner with them on so that they can meet whatever defines them, right? So that is really where I found my success and where my passion has always been, in really just helping people. And if I can do it while I'm making money at the same time, so I can support my family and myself and making memories and all those things, then that's just an amazing opportunity. So I have no idea how long we've been on. It is now 11:40, so I am going to start to wind this down. But again, as a reminder, I'm super excited if those of you who are out there, can stop by, whether Team Live or Team Replay. The purpose of this, all of my shows, and I have several of them, I'll list them out in just a second, but all of my shows, really, most of them have guests, although last week I did a solo or two because I didn't have a guest. I'm slowly getting back. I took July off. But this one is purely solo. It is purely about me, so it is a little bit selfish. It is so that I can get these videos out there. It's a way to hold myself accountable, take the video, transcribe them, and then do something with the outputs. I'm hoping that it turns into something valuable for me. So for those of you that do stop by, whether live or on Team Replay, super excited that you're even interested in joining me out there. But if no one shows, I'm okay with that too. But the point is really to talk about my own experiences over the span of my lifetime, which, by the way, is almost 52 years old in November. And I've talked about everything from, why I started my own company, kind of the history in sales. I've talked about my journey of healing and a couple of other topics, but today was purely around why sales, if anything. So it was really just sharing with you why I chose sales. My first sales role that I ever had or first two, which was way back when I was a kid, how I was exposed to sales. So that was really all about that. If you want to actually see guests and come have amazing conversation, I do 3 live shows a week. I talk about all things sales, AI, and humanity, aligning them together. So the sales arm is my Celevators Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central Time. On Wednesdays is my CAF AI Chats at 9 a.m. Central Time. And on Fridays is 10 a.m. Central Time, Coffee with Denise. So 9, and 10, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I've got a list of people who are interested that I have not booked yet. So if you would like to be a guest on one of those shows, if you can talk anything sales, anything AI, or you just want to share some amazing humanitarian stories, whether your own or someone else's, come join me on one of those shows, DM. Otherwise, I'm back here next Monday, 11:30 Central Standard Time. And for those of you that have noticed, I've kind of been on and off, it's because July, or most of all of July, I spent really when I wasn't working with my family. So I did not do a whole lot of social media. So I'm just now back and having a good time. Thank you for those of you who are out there, whether you're Team Live or Team Replay, definitely drop a comment with the hashtag and come back and have conversation. Otherwise, see you around tomorrow, Wednesday, or Friday for my live shows. Look forward to next week's topic, which I have not yet defined. So if you've got one that you want to hear about, let me know. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Happy Monday. And I hope that you have a great start to your week. Thank you, everyone. Bye.